Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where I interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 529. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and my guest today is Rusty Austin, a former Hollywood producer who has taken a pretty wonderful turn into children's books, writing stories that are playful, warm-hearted, and built to get kids curious about the world around them. His newest book is An Awesome Bird, the Pelican, and what makes this one especially fun is that it isn't just a book for kids. It's a book that invited kids into making it. The illustrations were created by students from Nellie Coffman Middle School, which gives the project a real classroom and community feel. The book uses humor, animal facts, and young artists' work to introduce readers to pelicans, how they look, how they live, and why they're such fascinating birds. So today we're going to talk about Rusty's move from Hollywood to storytelling to children's literature, and why he wanted middle school students to help bring this book to life, and what happens when kids get to see their own creativity treated as something worth publishing. This is going to be a conversation about birds, books, art, and giving young creators a seat at the table. Rusty, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
So this isn't your first children's book, but is this the first one you've actually had kids take part in creating?
Yes, I'll just give you a brief rundown of what happened. Is I was on this website called Donors Choose, which is like a GoFundMe for teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the teachers was looking for money to buy poetry books for her middle schoolers. And so I got in touch with her through the website and said, let me come in. I'll read my latest book, which at the time was The Unicorn Has One Horn. And I thought the kids would, maybe be good for 10 or 15 minutes. No, they loved it. They were completely engrossed for the whole hour I spent reading the book. And so then I pitched her the idea, why don't we have the kids do the pictures for my next book? And she got on board, and she would set aside an hour like every Friday for the kids to work on the pictures. And I had some 100 kids work on the pictures. There's only 44 poems in the book, so I made a section in the beginning and the end and the middle that just had just pictures for the kids. So every kid that did a picture got in the book. So that was fun.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so talk to us a little bit about what the process was like. So was there any the pictures in the book are true to form on how they drew them, or was there any changes in like color or anything like that?
No, the process was, I have a file of animal poems that I've been keeping since about 2014, and there's hundreds of them in there. And every now and then I'll just go in and pick out 40 or 50 that I really like and make a book. And so that's where the poems came from. And as to the pictures, I let the kids do whatever they want: pen and ink, watercolor, crayon, whatever they did. I scanned it in just exactly as they did it. So
that's cool.
It's really a wide variety of mediums for the pictures. You can see the picture on the front was a pen and ink, I think.
Okay. So why pelicans?
Well, I wrote a poem about pelicans. An awesome bird, the pelican. He keeps in his beak his food for the week. And generally with my books, I take the first poem in the book and make that the title of the book. And so I like that the best of all the poems that I had written for the book. There's some other ones in here. The jackrabbit has long ears and feet. Introduce yourself if by chance you meet. And that's what the picture of the jackrabbit looks like. So, but I chose the pelican just because, I don't know, I like the picture the kid did. And it turned out really well for the cover too.
And what did the student illustrators bring to the book that a professional illustrator might not have?
I would say whimsy, I guess. They're so diverse, these kids, and all their pictures. And there was one kid, his name was Andreas, and he did a scorpion in pen and ink. And the teacher said, why don't you use a pencil so you can erase it? He says, no, thanks. And so he did the whole scorpion, and it turned out really good. And he did it all freehand. He didn't erase or do anything different. The scorpion, yeah. And that's what that one looks like.
Huh.
So he did a great job on it. That was just one of them. And then you can see that one on the other page is the Roadrunner. And you can see that was probably done with colored pencils, I think, probably.
Yeah.
And this is the end of the book where I put in all the pictures from all the kids. You can
Okay.
see there's pencils and crayons and line drawings and every bit. So that was fun. And they brought that. Well, 100 kids. Everyone was a little bit different, so it was a lot of fun. I really had a good time doing it.
Hmm. And how do you think kid readers respond when they see artwork made by other kids in a published book like that?
Oh, they loved it. I went. The deal was I had to talk to the Palm Springs Unified School District lawyers because I couldn't do a contract with the school or with the kids, and so what I ended up doing was I gave each kid $20 and a copy of the book. And they were so excited. Oh, and a bag of chips, like spicy Doritos or something. They just loved that time. We set it up in the library, and all 100 of them came in at lunch. So that was
Oh, that's
great. And then also in all my books, I include like a do-it-yourself section at the end, which is one of the. It looks like this, and one of the. You can see there's 4 lines for the poem and the name of the animal. And one of the
okay.
that's one of the things I get the most positive feedback from parents and grandparents is the do-it-yourself section. The kids that read the book absolutely love it. So,
Huh.
and I just put it in there on a. I don't know why I put it in there. I just felt like it one day and then decided to do it. It turned out to be the biggest selling point of my books. So,
So then what was the biggest logistical challenge of working with student art then?
um, just the fact that they could only work on it for an hour every Friday. So I had the book
Mm,
written in November, and I didn't get the art until May or something.
wow.
And
Okay.
it trickled in a little bit at a time. But then I finally just said, "Look to the teacher. Look, you just have to send it to me all at once because I need to see every single picture to decide which picture goes with which poem." So that's what we ended up doing, and that was the main logistical challenge. Normally in my books, I'll send all the poems to an illustrator, and he or she will illustrate it in a month or something and send it back. But this one took I think over 6 months to do.
So in a way, you're also like an editor for the book because you had to
Yes.
organize the pictures in an order. How difficult or how easy was it to put knowing which image was on this page and which image was on the next page?
Well, there was a couple of students, Miranda and Julian, that were superstars, and so I knew right away I wanted to use their pictures. But then all the other kids, I had to make a decision as to which one to go with the poem and which one to go in the section at the end of the book. And I'm sure I made some wrong decisions. Probably everybody does, but I did my best.
So do you see an awesome bird as part of a larger series or a
Yes,
creative mission?
I've written 4 other poetry books about animals for kids. The Two-Headed Snake, the unicorn has one horn, and Beware the Grizzly Bear. And then I also wrote one about food, which is called The Carrot is Orange, which has a bunch of poems about foods that kid like, hot fudge sundaes or whatever. Here's the cover of that one, and I'll
Okay.
just read you a quick poem from that. The tastiest morsel is the last beak of bacon. I cannot deny for bacon I'm aching. And what I had the illustrator do was he did pictures of this little girl all the way through, and as she ate each piece of food, she would leave it on the table in front of her. So that was a fun book to write. So those are my 4 children's books. That are my series.
If a child wanted to make their own awesome bird book, what advice would you give them?
Don't give up. Just start one day
Mm,
and work on it, and just keep going until it's done. You can do it.
okay.
The poems are harder to write than it looks, but not so hard that a kid couldn't write them. So that's why I include
Mm,
the do-it-yourself section, because what I try to do with my poems is I make every one of them 12 to 15 words and 3 to 5 lines max.
okay. And how did you, because some of these were just like some fun facts.
Yeah.
How did you balance facts without making the book feel like a homework book?
Well, I try to use made up words on some of it. Like I wrote one called "The Dog Likes to Truck," and that's a fact. He'll ride all day, front or backed. So I use the T on the front or back. And
Right.
those I switch those in. Like I did one about a caiman, which goes, the caiman has a membrane that nictitates to better underwater see your dates. Now I'm hoping the kids will read that and say, "What in the heck is a nictitating membrane?" and look it up and figure it out. It's a membrane over an amphibian's eye that keeps the water out. So
Right.
that's fun that way. And whenever I hear, I like see something on the internet, or if I'm out driving around and I see an animal like a turtle or a sheep on the side of the road, I might write a poem in my head, and then immediately I'll put it into my notes app on my phone so I don't forget it. Because if I don't write it down right away, it's gone.
How is writing for kids different then? Because as you mentioned at the top of the hour, you were also a producer in Hollywood.
Yes.
Um, how is writing for kids different from producing entertainment for adults?
You have to be a lot more cognizant of your audience. So
Mm,
my audience is kids that are like 3 to 12, and so I try to keep it not dumbed down exactly, but simpler, I would say. And then uh, a lot of the stuff, I was in reality TV for many years, and the way we say it is, in scripted, you write the script and shoot the show. In reality, you shoot the show and write the script. And so a lot of editing in reality is just trying to find the, like, for example, on Hell's Kitchen, we had a 2 hour dinner service, but we'd only show you 10 minutes of it. So I kind of
mhm.
try to do that with my poems too, just kind of hone them down and hone them down, hone them down, and just try to get the very essence of it.
And so, are there storytelling lessons from producing that still show up then in your children's books?
Yes, absolutely. The simpler, the better. I mean, I've sure heard the acronym KISS, keep it simple,
Yeah,
stupid. That's
yeah.
what you have to do, because the minute you have to start explaining it and pointing this way and that way and telling people what's going on, you've lost the thread. You've got
Right.
to, almost have to hit them over the head with it.
And what do you think adults sometimes underestimate about young readers then?
I think often adults don't realize how much kids can learn by the time they're 8, 9, 10. My grandson, for example, knew exactly what a nictitating membrane is. He's 12, and he already knew. So he must have learned it at school, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, they're sponges. The kids at that
Yeah.
age are like they'll soak up everything.
And just I got to tell you, just the drawings in this book, just amazing. I mean, look at this stuff. They did such a great job with all of it. And here's an axolotl. It's funny. The
Mm.
axolotl was the one animal that most kids drew, because we let them choose which animals they want. We didn't assign any animals, and between the 100 kids I got, all 45 animals in, so that was good. The axolotl poem goes, the axolotl can regrow its brain, which is a handy thing for an axolotl. I couldn't figure out how to rhyme it. So that's what I wrote.
And are you going to be doing more of these books where you're going to go into schools and do that, or are you going to
Yeah,
stick to the
yes. In
same
fact,
school and the same
I'm
class?
in touch with the teacher. Her name is Leslie Snyder at Nellie Coffman Middle School, and we're going to do a book with her middle school students again next fall. So
Okay.
I haven't decided what to call it yet. I've been kind of looking through my poems and picking something out. I kind of like, the ram will ram you so too that you, if either finds itself with nothing better to do. So I like that. But yeah, I have hundreds of them. I just have to go through and pick out the best 40 or 50 that I like, and that'll be my next
Right.
book.
And so how big is the book? It's a children's picture book, right?
Yeah, it's this. The Pelican book is 82 pages, I think, and
Wow.
most of it, as you can see, most of it's just pictures. So, but again, with the do-it-yourself section, that's what I get the most positive feedback from parents and grandparents. The kids just love the do-it-yourself part, so that's fun
Right.
to hear.
And so when they come together, as you mentioned, some kids will draw on pen, people will
Yes.
draw with the colored pencils. Is there any qualifications where you said it has to be it's like a certain size or a
No,
certain medium?
I gave no qualifications at all. I just told the
Okay.
kids to do whatever they thought was best, and they did, and it
Right.
worked out great.
Is it sticking to a certain age group that
I
you
think,
want
yeah, I
these
think the age
illustrators
group
to
is
be?
basically 3 to 12. Obviously, a 3-year-old will have to have his parent or the grandparent read it, but
Right.
up between 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's easy enough for them to read themselves. And like I say, like with the nictitating membrane, I just hope I put enough stuff in there to get them curious to look stuff up on the internet, which is what
Right.
kids do nowadays. They learn how to
Right.
use their cell phone before they learn how to talk.
Yeah. And is this something like a theme that you're going to continue on working? It's
Yes.
as compared to some other children's books where you actually hired an illustrator that you would probably just
Oh,
ask children to do this.
yeah. I'll probably hire illustrators going down the road. It's just so complex to get this done with the teacher. It takes up a lot of her time too. So
Okay.
it's not easy. Yeah. Down the road, I'll probably hire other illustrators. But like I said, for the next one, she's agreed to do it next year, so we're going to go for it.
Well, hey there. If you're enjoying our podcast, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep this show going. We love hearing from you, so any feedback is welcome. And thank you for being a part of our podcast family and for all your support. It truly means a lot to us. Well, and also, too, as you mentioned, too, this is great for kid readers to see a book
Yes.
illustrated by other kids.
Oh, especially for the kids out there to see that, hey, they can do this, I can do it too.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
important to me.
And how is this book available to purchase, or can
Yes.
someone get it from the library, or how does this work?
There's a company called Ingram Sparks, which you can order it through a bookstore, or you can go to Amazon or to my website, rustyaustin.com, and buy it
Right.
online. It's not in bookstores. You have to special order it. I'm working on
Okay.
that, but I haven't got there yet.
Well, another good idea is that folks that are listening or watching this can actually reach out to their local library and ask their local
Yes.
library to pick it up as well.
And I will say one more thing about local libraries. I've been doing readings in all of them around here. There's like Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Indian Wells. They have libraries, and also I've been able to go into like various elementary and middle schools and do readings, which I've been doing for the last couple of years. So
Right.
the word's getting out. It takes time.
What do you want families to talk about after reading this book together?
I would like to see them talk about the world of animals and what we can do to preserve it, because, as you probably know, habitat loss is big now, and the more people spread out, the less room animals have. And I would just like them to know that there are great things, animals in zoos. Kids love zoos, and I think zoos have gotten a lot better in the last 30 years with their habitats. They don't keep them in those cages or behind glass anymore. They have open air, so that's good. And that's kind of the thing I want them to take away from it, is that, the natural world is big and broad and a big part of our life.
What are some of the most rewarding responses you've gotten from kids, parents, and teachers?
Rewarding responses, they just call me and tell me, like, again, how much they like the do-it-yourself section. I think is really my most favorite thing to hear about. And sometimes they'll call me and say, the picture of the axolotl on page 35 was really inspired my kid to draw axolotls, so that was fun. And that kind of thing.
What were some of the surprising facts that actually? What are some facts that actually surprised you?
Well, I was surprised that an axolotl can regrow its mane. I was surprised that a toucan actually sings tunes. They don't just chirp. A toucan will actually sing a song.
Really?
They don't just chirp. Yeah. So that was a big one. And then I learned about minks and rainbow trouts, and again the nictitating membrane was big. And long-eared bats use what they call echolocation to find their way, which I think a lot of people kind of know or have heard of that in the back of their mind, but to see it in practice was really good.
And so what's next for you then, Rusty? Because as we mentioned, you've done a lot of books so far.
I think, yeah, I'll do another. Maybe The Two-Headed Snake is one that's coming up. Dave and Me is actually a memoir that I did of my friend Dave, who passed away at a young age a while back. Just a bunch of short stories about what we did growing up in the 70s. So that was a good one. That's one of my adult books. There's a picture of me on the back of it right there. Dave and Me. Yeah, Dave was my good friend that I met when I was probably, I don't know, 9 or 10. He was one of my backyard neighbors.
Yeah.
And so we spent a lifetime of, being friends. And so I had to write that book after he passed away or died. He was maybe 61 or 62 when he died, so that was hard.
Your other books, are they like your other children's books? Are they also like the Pelican, like the Awesome Bird Pelican, where it's full of different facts?
Different facts, and for example, the grizzly bear, which was the first book I wrote, my nephew Graham did all the illustrations on a Commodore 64, I think it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, something he had left over from when he was at like 9 or 10 years old. and now he's almost 40. So, but yeah, he did all
Wow.
those, and then my other nephew Frank did the ones for the unicorn book. So that
Okay.
was fun.
So that's really cool that you actually had um, family members that did the
Yes,
illustration.
and then on the yeah, that's one that Frank did of the unicorn with the poem goes, the unicorn has one horn and they say he can fly, but I've never seen one up in the sky. That was Graham's illustration, which was great, I thought.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Or Frank's actually. Graham did the grizzly bear. Frank is my other nephew. I get them
Yeah.
mixed up because they look exactly the same. They're only 2 years apart.
So
So
if people want to learn more about you and your work, Rusty, they can go to rustyaustin.com.
yeah, that's a good place to start. I'm in IMDb if you want to read about my Hollywood career. I'm not like a real famous producer, but I did do it for 35 years. I probably worked on 50 or 60 different shows, so I'm in there
Well,
too.
the biggest one was Hell's Kitchen, right?
Yes, I actually I worked 16 seasons on Hell's Kitchen and then retired off of that one in 2018. So
Right.
that was my last show. But yeah, you strive to get on something that goes 16 seasons, and then you
Right.
just hold on to it because your salary doubles every couple 3 years. You just
Right.
make more and more money, so you don't want to quit.
Right. Yeah. And basically the job of a producer is to do what?
Well, I was a post producer, so what I did was I gathered up all well back then we shot tape and then we shot disc. I think now everything goes directly to a drive, but gather up all the tapes and get them digitized into a system where they can be edited, and then add the music and the voiceover
Hmm.
and cut it down to 44 minutes and 28 seconds with 5 commercial breaks with the editors. We had editors, some of them would specialize, like on Hell's Kitchen, we had there's punishments and rewards, and some of the editors just did the rewards, some of the editors just did the punishment, and some of them were really good at dinner service. So depending on what the editor was good at is how you would slot them in. And we had at one point 20 different editors working at the same time, so you kind of have to organize all that too. It's a I like to say it's a desperate enterprise, but I'm sure a lot of other jobs are that way too. So
Yeah. Excellent. And so listen, you're gonna have to come back on then, Rusty, when you have
I would
your
love to.
next
Yes,
book come out. Yeah.
I'll tell Mackenzie about that so she can line me up again next year. That would be great.
Yeah. And so you basically come out with a book a year then.
Yeah, yeah, about once a year. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's what's
All right.
this 2026? I've been doing this since 2018. So yeah, I think I have about 8 books out.
Right. The two-headed snake, the pelican, beware the
Yep.
grizzly bear, the carrot is orange, and the unicorn has one horn. Those are your kids'
Yeah,
books.
those are my 5 kids books, and then I have
Yeah.
Dave and me, and I have this whole, like I said, this whole series of baseball books, which has those funny little facts and stories in them about
Right.
that. And another thing we have in the baseball books is Scott has been a baseball fan for 30 years and went to all the stadiums and took pictures. So a lot of the
Wow.
pictures that he took are in there too. That's why it's
You
such
got
a massive
you,
book.
you got the Red Sox, you got Yankees, you got
Yes.
Giants, you got Angels. You're missing the Cubs though. That's another
Oh, the Cubs.
classic one.
I think Scott just finished the Cubs, so I'll have to get that one on there. The Cubs and the Dodgers both he just finished.
Okay.
Um, so that's coming. And then he also did this one here is called Game One. He also did without me a book called Game Two, which was stuff that he found laying around after we did Game One.
That's
So
cool.
I think we got
Excellent.
everything, but
Yeah.
he might do Game Three.
Excellent.
I don't know. I'd have to ask him.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Rusty. This has been a great
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah. And thanks for having me. And again, that's rustyaustin.com.